That was sweet. Love to have a nice blowout game so that the starters can rest and you don't spend too much energy. Houston 116, Cleveland 78. With the win, Houston improves to 38-31 on the year. They are still in the 7th seed in the Western Conference playoffs right now. They are 1/2 of a game behind the Golden State Warriors now for the number 6 seed. And I think they're a game and a half up currently on the Lakers, who are playing right now against the Washington Wizards and are likely to win that game. They're up by like 18 points right now in the second quarter. They're either 2 games or a game and a half up on the Lakers as of this moment. That'll change whenever the Lakers finish their game tonight. Houston is now 4 games up on the Utah Jazz, and they have the tiebreaker over the Jazz, and there's only 13 games left. So as I've been saying recently, things are looking very good for the Rockets to make the playoffs. But it's not done till it's done. I actually waited to make this video until the Utah game was over. They went into overtime with San Antonio, and I wanted to know how they were going to end up, just how it would affect Houston, and they lost. So definitely a good thing for Houston. Houston is also 5 games up on the Portland Trail Blazers, who have been winning some games recently. They won tonight on the road. Like I said, though, there's only 13 games left. Houston's in a very good position. Very good position. Yes, I would love it if the team gets the number 6 seed. But again, the first thing is just make the postseason. Just qualify. And we're getting closer to that as the team keeps winning games like tonight. This game was won in the second and third quarters. Cleveland actually started the game shooting pretty well, but they just couldn't keep it up. Houston really poured it on in those 2 periods, and it was just a blowout, which is, again, great. Great for the fans, great for the team. We got to see more of the backups and the bench because it was a blowout. So Patrick Beverley and Thomas Robinson had nice games. Beverley had 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Thomas Robinson had 15 points and 6 rebounds. I think he shot like 6 of 7 from the field. So got to see a little bit more of what he's capable of doing. And it was great. Like I said, it's good. Get those guys some exposure, get them some minutes when the game's just not that competitive. Now let's turn to Jeremy. Jeremy only played 20 minutes in this game, so he didn't put up big numbers. He didn't need to, and his shot was a little bit off today. But that's okay. Like I said, he didn't need to be on today. And that's why it's good to have a game where it's a blowout. You don't have to have a great game. Jeremy finished with 4 points, 1 rebound, and 6 assists. He shot 2 of 7 from the field, 0 of 2 on 3-point attempts, 0 of 1 on free throw attempts, no steals, no blocks, 3 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. His plus-minus was a +1, and his efficiency number was 2. So, like I said, Jeremy didn't shoot that well. He had a couple turnovers. He did have 6 assists, and he could have had a lot more. There were a lot of blown assists for him. But it doesn't matter, as I've said before. The most important thing is win the game. Houston won, and they won easily. So Jeremy didn't have to play great in this game. And good. Like I said, rest him up because he's been playing a good amount of minutes, and because of the style that he plays at, which is so fast, he needs more rest. And so when you can get the rest, that's good. I want to say something, too. I saw something on Clutch Fans where somebody said that Jeremy's knee, like the strength in his knee that he had the surgery on, I believe his left knee, is just now back to 100%. And that sounds about right. That sounds about right. What they'll do is they'll test the joint. They'll test the muscles on machines. And I believe the person said on Clutch Fans that he's just now back to 100% on Cybex machine. And I'm familiar with those. And you see those at a lot of gymnasiums, this type of equipment. And that's great. As I said, that's why it's good for him to be able to rest more. If he's just now getting back to 100% strength, then, I mean, the knee's in good shape. But he has played a lot of minutes this year, given how many minutes he's played in previous seasons, which has been relatively few, although he played a lot of minutes last year for the Knicks when he played. But until that stretch of games, the 25 games or whatever it was, he didn't play very much. So as a first year, as a starter playing in a very up-tempo, fast style, he needs as much rest as he can get, particularly coming off of the knee injury. So I'm glad he got to get some time on the bench tonight. He didn't have to play much, and it's great to hear that his knee is back up to full strength. That's probably why he's able to finish on layups and on other moves quicker now. And so hopefully, I don't want to jinx it. I know somebody mentioned this before. Hopefully he can maintain some good health going forward and just go onwards and upwards from here. As we've said before, he's been improving steadily this entire season. And very impressive in how much he's improved. Now, this was the first time in 11 games, I believe, that Jeremy did not score in double figures. But again, he didn't need to, and he only played 20 minutes, which is less than half the game. It's also the first time in 4 games that he did not score 20 or more points. And it's the first time in 4 games that we did not have a Linsanity 2.0 performance. As I said, I'm completely cool with it. As you guys know, it's all about winning. And that's what Jeremy knows. I know Jeremy's very happy because the Harvard Crimson got a big upset in the NCAA tournament yesterday or the other day. I think it was yesterday. And Jeremy tweeted out some pictures of him like with the little 3-point goggles on, you know, where you make the OK sign with your hand with the 3 fingers up. And he had like that over both of his eyes. And definitely a great thing. The Ivy League, they always make the tournament because I believe they have an automatic bid for whoever the champion is, but they basically pretty much never win. And they did win yesterday, and that's a big achievement. And I know that Jeremy and a bunch of other Harvard grads are feeling pretty good about that. Congratulations to Harvard on that victory. As we said, look, Jeremy he's just in a great position right now. He's healthy as far as we know, and he certainly seems it. He's having a successful year. He continues to improve month by month, game by game. The 2 3-pointers that he missed in this game, and I'll talk, actually, no, I won't bring them up in the quarter by quarter because he didn't make them. They were good shots. And we've seen shots from Jeremy during this year where, you know, air ball 3-pointers and way off. These shots were good shots. They were close. So what that says to me is his shooting motion from 3-point range is getting better and better. He's getting more and more accurate with it. And as I've talked about in previous videos, the important thing with shooting, it's great if you have a good motion, like if your motion is mechanically sound, but the most important thing, that's more important than how sound your motion is that you can repeat it. For example, Larry Bird, his shooting motion was not mechanically good, but he was able to repeat it, and he got good with it. So he could hit a bunch of 3-pointers, and he shot a very good percentage because he knew what he was going to do every time he shot it. I think Jeremy's getting closer to that. Now, again, this upcoming summer, he'll work more with his shooting coach and probably change some stuff on that. Do more serious work on changing his shot if he wants to. But with where he's at right now, with his current shooting motion, he's getting better at it. He's getting it more repeatable. I know people have pointed out on Clutch Fans that they put a video up of Jeremy warming up, taking long-distance shots. And they're like, yeah, this is much better now. You can see how comfortable he is as compared to what he used to be. That's right. It's like anything else. The more you practice at it, the better you get at it. And Jeremy is getting better and better with it. As I said, he pretty much all of the misses that he had tonight were good shots. They just didn't go in. And that's going to happen. But he made good decisions on his shots. And they look good. They just didn't fall. And everybody has that. That's the nature of playing basketball or any other sport. Some days it are better than others. And that's it. Like I said, though, this was a great win for the team. And Jeremy he's just in a good spot mentally. Since that second Dallas game in Dallas, which was 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, and we didn't win that game. Mikhail stayed with Patrick Beverley, and Jeremy didn't play in the fourth quarter for like the third game in a row, but Houston lost. Since that game, I think Mikhail's trusted Jeremy more, and you can see Jeremy's confidence is better. I think the organization, the coaches realize Jeremy's the best point guard, and you need to play him more. And he's been getting more respect from the team, from his teammates, and he's just settling in. As I mentioned in the last video, he's finding his niche with the team and in the offense. And so in the past, during this season, we'd be like, well, man, he didn't play in the fourth quarter, and he only played 20 minutes. And Patrick Beverley played well. You don't feel that anymore. You know Jeremy's cool. Jeremy's the guy. And so it's good that he got rest, and there's no concern about it because his position as the starter is solid. It's not going anywhere. So that's what I was just thinking on an overview of Jeremy, tonight's game, and just where he's at overall. Okay, let's go to quarter by quarter. Now, Cleveland was playing without three of their best players, Kyrie Irving, Dion Waiters, and Anderson Varejao. Those are three starters, and obviously the Cavs then are not going to be as good. Remember, though, the last game Cleveland played was against the Miami Heat in Cleveland. And Cleveland was up by 27 points in that game in the third quarter, and they lost. So they're capable of playing well, even without their top guys. I mean, everybody in the NBA can play. Some guys just need a chance to play, just like what Jeremy showed last year. Now, not everybody's capable of Linsanity 1.0, but guys can play. And particularly on a given night, you never know what's going to happen. And Cleveland looked good in this game early. They did. They were playing very good defense. I was impressed with their defense particularly. But again, as things continued, without those top guys, they just couldn't hang in there. Early in the first, Jeremy had he drove to the hoop and did a nice little wrap-around pass to Omer Asik for a reverse layup. That was actually the first play of the game. Houston won the jump ball to start the game. Jeremy drove down and had that nice little play. So it was definitely a good way for Houston and Jeremy to get started in this game. Also, early in the first, Jeremy drove to the hoop from about like he started from like the free throw line, extended to the right. He dribbled towards his left, going towards the middle of the lane. And then he saw there was an opening, so he drove right down the lane. He basically went on a 90-degree perpendicular cut. Started going horizontally across the lane, saw there was an opening, and then, boom, went right towards the basket. And he got a little scoop layup, and he was fouled. So it was an and one. He did not convert the free throw, but it was a very nice move. Also, early in the first, Jeremy saw Omer coming down in transition and got him a nice pass in on the fast break for a dunk. And then Jeremy did, as I said, he did miss a three-point attempt from, it was almost in the right corner. It was 85 degrees right of the top of the arc. And this was also early. So what I noticed was Jeremy was very active early. He was looking for shots. He was looking to score. And that's good. I said he's getting more confident. And certainly the team wants him to pass and look for guys, but he also was looking for his own shot tonight. I think it's a good balance. And it was confident. Like I said, he's less hesitant, which is great. Middle of the first, Jeremy hit Chandler Parsons in transition for Chandler got an and one layup there off the right side of the backboard. Very nice play by both Jeremy and Chandler. Also, middle of the first, Jeremy hit Demo for a left corner three-point basket. So Jeremy started very fast in this game, looking for his own shot and getting other people involved. As I said, he plays quick. He plays quick because that's the way Mikhail wants him to play, and he plays quick because that's his strength. One of his main advantages is he's faster than everybody, so he has to play quick to play well. As his skill set gets better, he'll be able to play a little slower. And again, when people talk about Jeremy's stamina problems or his lack of conditioning, a lot of it is just because he plays so fast. And if you play that fast, you're going to get tired more quickly. But it'll get better. His conditioning will get better. His skill set will get better. So he can play at a slower pace and still play effectively. I made a note here that Houston's offense looked really good here in the first quarter. There was a lot of ball movement, not a lot of isolations. There were some of the hardened ISO ball, but not too many, and it was good to see. Also noted that Cleveland was double teaming Jeremy at the top of the arc. Sometimes they were mixing it up. They weren't doing it every single time, but they were doing it enough to slow down Jeremy. And as we've seen in other games, many teams do this. They realize that if you want to beat Houston, try to slow down Jeremy, try to slow down James Harden. If you can do that, you have a good chance to beat Houston. So, again, it just shows you how important Jeremy is to the success of this team. Patrick Beverley came in for Jeremy with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left in the first quarter. At that point in time, Cleveland was winning the game 23-20. Now, Mikhail substituted for Jeremy right after he got a turnover, and I think it was his second turnover of the game. So there was possibly an element there of, okay, I'm taking you out because you messed up. But it didn't matter. He also had, I'm not sure Mikhail did it for that reason, and Jeremy also had 2 personal fouls at that time. Most times, if a player has 2 personal fouls in the first quarter and they're a starter, the coach will take them out. So I'm not really sure exactly why Mikhail took him out there. Could have been for any reason. Could have been because of the turnover. Could have been because of the 2 fouls. But again, even if he took him out for the turnover, it's not a big deal. We're moving past that stage where it's, how's Mikhail going to use them? That's going to get better and better, I'm sure, going forward. Jeremy started the second quarter on the bench, as we talk about the typical Mikhail substitution where he bridges the first quarter at the end of the first quarter and the start of the second quarter with Patrick Beverley on the floor. I made a note here that Thomas Robinson can dribble the ball a little bit. I don't know. I haven't seen him dribble a ton, but you notice that sometimes he'll get a rebound and he'll start bringing the ball up. Or if he's given the ball on offense and nobody's open, he can dribble a little bit, and that's good. One of the things that's been said about Thomas Robinson is that they might try to make him a small forward later in his career. I'm not talking so much Houston, but just in general, that's been talked about with him because he's not a huge power forward. He's big physically. He's massive in size, but he's not that tall. So there has been some thought about trying to make him into a small forward. So if you're going to be a small forward, you need to be able to dribble. And it does seem like he's got some ability that way, and that's good. That's good. Also, again, in this quarter, the backups were getting a lot of time because they were playing well, and Cleveland was cooling off. So the score was a 10-plus point lead. And so if you have the lead and your bench is keeping the lead or extending the lead, you don't need to bring your starters back in real quickly. Jeremy came back into the game with 5 minutes and 59 seconds left in the second quarter. Houston was up at that point 39-29. Late in the second, Jeremy hit an off-the-dribble fall away from just underneath, just below the left free throw line extended. Nice little move. Talked about Jeremy getting individual moves on the perimeter so he can get his shot, and that was a good example of that. That was a nice move, and he hit the shot well. Jeremy came back out of the game with 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the second quarter. Houston was up 55-41, and as I mentioned before, my guess is that Mikhail did this because he didn't want Jeremy to get his third personal foul, which is smart. Coaches don't like it when guys get 3 personal fouls in a half, particularly the first half. If it's their starters, they want to try to keep guys away from that, just so they've got a lot of fouls left in the second half. And I think that's probably why Mikhail took him out at that period of time. Jeremy started the third quarter after halftime, and very quickly he had 2 assists. The first one was to Omer for a layup, and the second one was to Chandler for a layup. And with the score at 70-53 Houston, so Houston up by 17 points with 5 minutes left in the third quarter, Jeremy came out of the game for Patrick Beverley, and that's the last Jeremy played in this game. So he did not play the last 17 minutes of this game. And again, I'm completely good with that. You don't need to play him, don't play him. Let him get rest. The team is looking very good for the playoff spot, so let him rest. That's what happened, and that's what he did. The starter that played the most minutes tonight was James Harden, and he only played 31 minutes. So I think everybody else was 20 in the 20 minutes, 20 to 29 minutes. So great. I love it. Summary was, this was a great game. It's a good time for the team to get a blowout and an easy victory so that the starters can rest. That's what happened. Jeremy just looked relaxed tonight. His shots weren't falling, but he looked good. He ran the offense well. He passed the ball well, and he had good tempo. So, cool. Even though his string of double-figure scoring ends, I'm perfectly fine with it. He did what he needed to do tonight, and that's it. Now, the next 4 games are going to be extremely difficult. The opponents that Houston is playing are very good. So this is going to be a very difficult time of their schedule. Next game is against the San Antonio Spurs, then against the Indiana Pacers. After that, play at Memphis, and then the following night, they play the Los Angeles Clippers in Houston. All four of those teams are very good. All of those are top 8 teams in the league. It's going to be difficult. The good thing is that 3 of those games are in Houston, so that will definitely help. But I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Houston has to win 3 of those games or 2 of those games. It would be good if they could. But again, if Utah keeps losing and if Portland stops winning, it's not going to matter. Now, Houston wants to stay ahead of the Lakers, and they want to catch the Golden State Warriors. But as I said, one goal at a time. First, just qualify for the playoffs. And but those games are going to be tough. They're going to be very tough, and it'll be a good test for where the team is at those next 4 games. Okay, it is right now 11:47 p.m. on Friday, March 22nd, here on the East Coast of the United States. That means it's 12:47 p.m. on Saturday, March 23rd in Taipei, Taiwan. Now, there's no comments for me to answer because I actually had the opportunity to answer every single comment in the Game 68 video, which is great. I love it. Love interacting with people. And I'll be going down to the comments as soon as this video goes up. So somebody mentioned that it's easier if I can answer the comments in the video, in the comment section, because then rather than making a comment video where people have to, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know who asked what, et cetera, et cetera. So it's, if you have all the comments written down there, then it's simpler, and that makes sense. So I'll try to do that as much as I can. And there's some times where the games are late and I just have to go to bed or whatever it is. I have something else to do, but if I can do that, I will do it. And I'll be able to do it tonight, so great. As I mentioned, the next game is against the San Antonio Spurs. That is on Sunday, March 24th, here in the United States at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It will take place in Asia on Monday, March 25th, early, and the time will be 8 a.m. in Taipei, Taiwan, when that game takes place. Again, it's going to be a great test. It'll be a great test for the team. It'll be a great test for Jeremy. Tony Parker, the exceptional point guard for the Spurs, who has missed several weeks because of an ankle sprain, just came back tonight and in the Utah game. And so he will be playing, I would imagine, against the Rockets. So, look, we've beaten the Spurs this year already. You know, Jeremy had the 38.9 against them, and we have beaten them, I believe, one of the times. So we can beat them. And it would be great if we could beat them in this upcoming game. But I won't fall apart if we don't beat them. The Spurs are one of the 3 best teams in the league, along with Miami and Oklahoma City. So I think there's a very good chance the Spurs are going to go to the finals this year. And so Houston's not at that level yet. And that's okay. You don't expect them to be at that level. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm sure Houston will be ready for that game. And, look, they could end up facing the Spurs in the playoffs. So both teams are going to want to do well and kind of send a message to the other team. So that should be a very entertaining game to watch in 2 days from now. Okay, your comments below. Thumbs up, thumbs down on this video. We'll have all the information in the video description below the video player, game highlights, game stories, box score of tonight's game, as well as information how you can come and join the CNM Facebook group, which has over 2,000 members and counting. I am Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. we strive to be the #1 JLin YouTube fan channel. I hope everybody's having a great day or great night wherever you are around the world when you have a chance to watch this video. Again, excellent night. Easy game. Jeremy gets to rest. Perfect. Woo! Victory. And we're looking forward to the Spurs on Sunday. That should be a lot of fun. And I'm sure Jeremy and the team will be up for the challenge. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you again soon.